Hey everybody, I am so excited to be here with you and to look at pillar number 3, which is how do we build solid farm systems to support the lifestyle that we'd love to live. So just a little reminder, this fits into the 5 pillars, which are the structure for as to guide our reflection and our actions as we build a farm that really supports the lifestyle we'd love to live and allows us to accomplish the life's intentions, which are the most meaningful to us. So pillar number 3 is really where it gets practical. It's where the rubber hits the road, so to speak. Because in pillar number 1, we've defined the outcome that we want to create, the vision for the life we'd love to live. Pillar number 2, we've said, all right, well, given that, where do I need to focus my energy on in my farm? Where do I need to focus my resources? And we've learned to really, build our schedule around the activities that are the most important. We've learned to build our budgets around the most important thing, which is our salary for ourselves and our family. And now it's like, well, great. We need to make some shifts and some changes maybe in the way that we're actually farming to support these breakthroughs that we've had in pillar 1 and 2. And so that's where pillar 3 comes in. It's really about solid farm systems. And a system, just straight up, is a self-perpetuating arrangement of interconnected parts that form a unified whole to achieve a defined outcome. So, farms, totally complex. In theory, they need to be self-perpetuating, right? And they're definitely all interconnected, and we're definitely working towards this unified whole, which is the lifestyle that you'd like to live on the farm. And so what we need to see here is that the farm itself is a large system that's easier understood if we break it down into its subsystems. And so while we could define hundreds of different systems, for the sake of this exercise, we're going to be looking at 5 key elements that really can make a huge difference on a farm. These 5 elements are the information flow system. So how does information flow through our business? Soil management. How are we taking care of the soil over time? How is that soil management supporting the creation of the life that we'd love to live? Weed management system. Yeah, so important and so interconnected with the other systems as well. For anyone who's ever tried to go harvest any crop in the weeds, you know how related weed management is with the harvest system, right? Wow. Harvest, post-harvest system. This is where, 20 to 33% of our time goes in a year. And so, seeing as this is where we spend so much of our time, it's really one of the key elements to make sure we've got dialed in. And finally, it's the marketing system, this thing where, some of us would maybe rather overlook that and just focus on the growing part. But this is where we turn vegetables into money. And so it's worth it to bring a systematic approach to this as well. So let's just dive right in. The point of this is really that we want to map out each system to see, what does it look like? Because one of the benefits of having a systematic approach is it allows you to take a step back and see your operation rather than being in it. And so when you map out each step of the operation, either on a big paper, maybe with Post-it notes, maybe on a big whiteboard, well, you're able to look at it and be like, all right, is this coherent? Am I missing any steps? Where's the bottleneck? Where's the weak link? Because we're really looking for where's the weak link in the farm? Where's the weak link in each system? We're looking for which shift would have the greatest impact. In other words, if all the other parameters on the farm stayed the same, which shift would have the greatest impact in terms of creating the life I'd love to live? And we're just looking at, okay, well, straight up, how does each system currently support the life I'd love to live? Does it? Yes? No? Just take a clear look at it. So the first system is one we don't think about that often. It's called, I've ended up calling it the information flow system. So it's really about getting the information out of our heads and making it available to everyone on the farm. And not only for farms where there's a lot of employees and a large crew, where it's so essential that everyone knows what's going on, but even if you're on a small farm with maybe you're just the only person working there, or maybe there's 1 or 2 employees, the fact of getting it out of our heads and into some sort of charts or manuals or whatever communication tools we decide to use is so relieving. It means that you don't have to carry all this information just up in your head all the time. So how does information currently flow from your farm? What are the different steps from you have the idea in your mind to it gets out to the person actually doing the action, and then from that person back up to the person making the decision, to create a loop where you're really making decisions. The information is at the right place, at the right time, to the right person. Your employees aren't running around wondering, what are we doing next? Where's the farmer? I need to ask him this question. And it also means that we're not reinventing things every time. It's like we know the spacing for lettuce, and there's a chart where we can clearly see what's the spacing. We don't have to sort of invent it every time. The real question here is, what would become possible if you were no longer indispensable to the daily operations of the farm? What would it be like to empower your crew to have all the information necessary to operate the farm without your daily operational presence? What would you be free to do? This one key element of this is team meetings and communication tools. It cannot be understated. The power of having a weekly team meeting is immense. The power of having a daily team meeting is huge also, but at least starting with a weekly meeting, it's huge. And really thinking about communication tools, as in, how do we make sure that the information gets to the right person at the right time in the right place? And in terms of records, it can be easy to get into a pattern where we're just harvesting lots of data for fun because we're a bunch of big nerds. But really, we have to ask ourselves, what are the key questions that we are seeking to answer with our record keeping? So these are just a couple reflections, but really what I would have you do here is really map it out. Look at the information from the point of, from the moment someone orders a vegetable to the time it's delivered, from the moment that you imagine your crop plan until the end of the season when it's all done. What is the flow of information? And to really see where are those key elements that need to be in place in order to have clear communication. Second one is your soil management system. So, as little organic farmers, we love this system. We love talking about soil management. So just go for it. Map it out. Look at what are all the different elements involved in your soil management, and just to take a look, is this currently supporting the lifestyle I'd love to live or not? Is our soil structure improving over time, or is it deteriorating? Just need to be honest with ourselves. Do you have a clear rotation plan, including the systematic use of green manures or compost? So important, and it's the type of thing that theoretically we know is important. But when it comes down to the actual action, it's so, that's the first thing to go, it's just okay, plant the crops. Oh my God, we gotta get them weeded. We gotta get them irrigated, blah, 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 harvested, delivered. And it's pretty quickly that the green manures and all these soil building methods and the crop rotation just sort of go out the window. So yeah, just take a look at it, and something simple. It doesn't have to be complicated, but just at least defining what is my system. Even if it's not the ideal system that you would love, but just saying currently, what is my system? What are we going to be doing? What are the key dates that we need to hit for certain actions in this respect? And really, when was the last time you did a soil profile to check out the roots, your crop's roots? It's all about the roots. Whenever we're having a problem, it's we got to get to the root of the problem. And it can be, and even if there seems to be no problem, it can be really insightful to take a look at the roots and see hey, I'm doing this soil management method. I'm doing this tillage. I'm doing this fertilization. I think I'm doing the right job. My crops look healthy, but just to take a look and see, what's going on down below the soil, right? Such a powerful action. Third system is weed management system. No, not that kind of weed. The other weeds, the weeds that grow in your field, the lamb's quarters and galanzoga. So really, this is the type of thing also, once again, it's there is such power in clarity. It's clearly saying, okay, for this kind of crop, for transplanted crops, these are the steps in my weed control itinerary. For direct seeded crops, this is my plan, right? Even just then, putting that down on paper and communicating it to the team is huge. And basically, we need to think about 3 different elements of weed control here. So often we think mainly about post-emergence weed control, as in we need to hoe the crops or we need to go weed the crops. But really, it starts with pre-emergence. It's stuff like snail seed beds, using silage tarp to do occultation there, that's what we call it in French, occultation, but, using silage tarps to do snail seed bed prep. Flame weeding, huge. With all these things, it's like, what systems need to be in place for me to actually execute it? Because I know you know these things, but it's like, what systems need to be in place so that I am reliably flame weeding my carrots? Is it that you're going to be using an alarm in your smartphone? Is it that you're going to have a calendar? Is it that you're just going to go out every single Tuesday and flame everything regardless of what's going on? Not everything, but all crops that haven't yet emerged. So just looking at what kind of a system would support me in implementing these things I know I need to do. Post-emergence. This is what we know about cultivation, mulching, tine weeding. So these are things that we know we need to do, and just to take a look at it and what's my system look like, map it out. I really want to highlight the power of tine weeding for small scale growers. There's a great tool that's come out from Two Bad Cats in Vermont. It's a handheld rake tine weeder for post-emergence weeding. It's wonderful. And hilling. Yeah, hilling. Great way to kill weeds too. And the third element of the weed control system is systemic. So have we designed the system to reduce weeds? So here we talk about stuff like crop rotation. We talk about preventing weeds from going to seed. We talk about soil structure and health. And really we're looking over time, is the weed pressure on my farm increasing or decreasing? And what needs to change to get it on the right path? Then harvest and post-harvest. Wow, we spent so much time here, so important. And here really it's going to be about the spaghetti diagram. It's take a piece of paper, map out your farm, and then draw a line representing the movement of the vegetable from the field all the way to the wash station, washing, pack, cold room, all the way to the delivery truck. And just see what does that spaghetti look like? And how could I go about straightening out the spaghettis or shortening them? It's really all about flow in this system. It's also about procedures. Do we know what our procedure is for harvesting? Do we know what the quality standards are in such a way that we're all working on a common basis and we can all have something to work towards improving? But at least we know that we're all doing the same thing. And so that gives us a foundation upon which to improve. And then, once again, tying in with the information flow system. This is a key part. What is the flow of information from the time a client orders to the time that the order is delivered? And finally, it's the marketing system. It's, really to shift and see that marketing is a way of being of service. Because you have something, some contribution that you want to bring into the world. And marketing is the manner in which we interact with those that we seek to serve as we contribute to that better world. And so it's really about being an empathetic marketer. It's about looking at who do we seek to serve? What change do we seek to bring about for that person? And what is our promise? What is our brand promise? What are we committing to do for these people? It's looking at retention and upselling. It's looking at that, the hardest part is getting a new client. And once you have that person, you need to look at how do we keep that person and how do we create more opportunities for that person to buy from our farm. And it's really about the 80-20 principle here. It's looking at the fact that 80% of our profits come from 20% of our actions, both in terms of crops and in terms of marketing. So really to take a good, clean look at our marketing and see how much effort is each one taking versus how much benefit am I getting. So yeah, that's the bottom line. Map it out, take a good, honest look, and I look forward to hearing from you to see what you've seen. And just really thinking of each one of these within the lens of creating a farm that really supports the lifestyle you'd love to live. So thanks for listening, and I look forward to hearing your comments and to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.